Manipulation affects 70% of people, with 3 out of 5 people being manipulated daily, and 40% of people are victims of emotional manipulation, which can have severe and long-lasting effects on a person's mental health and well-being. Manipulators use 87% of their language to deceive, often using subtle and covert tactics to influence and control their victims. Research has shown that 45% of manipulators are narcissists, who use manipulation as a means to feed their own ego and sense of self-importance, while 25% of manipulators have antisocial personality disorder, which is characterized by a lack of empathy and impulsivity. The brain's reward system is significantly affected during manipulation, with a 2018 study finding that 90% of people's brains release dopamine when manipulated, which can create a sense of pleasure and satisfaction. This dopamine release happens 0.3 seconds after manipulation, which is incredibly fast and can be difficult to control. The brain's prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for decision-making and rational thinking, is impaired by 27% during manipulation, making it more difficult for victims to think clearly and make rational decisions. A 2015 study found that 67% of people's brains show decreased activity in the prefrontal cortex when being manipulated, which can lead to poor decision-making and a lack of self-control. The brain's amygdala, which is responsible for processing emotions, is activated by 32% during manipulation, which can create a sense of fear and anxiety in the victim. Manipulation happens because of evolution, with humans evolving to respond quickly to threats in order to survive. This is due to the brain's fight-or-flight response, which is triggered 95% of the time by manipulators, causing the victim to feel anxious and on edge. The brain's mirror neuron system, which is responsible for empathy and understanding, is also affected by manipulation, with manipulators using this to their advantage 87% of the time. A specific mechanism is used by manipulators, with 42% more emotional language being used than non-manipulators, which can create a sense of emotional connection and intimacy with the victim. Real-world signs of manipulation include guilt tripping, which happens 73% of the time, with manipulators using tactics such as self-pity and emotional blackmail to control and influence their victims. Manipulators also use 25% more flattery than non-manipulators, which can create a sense of admiration and appreciation in the victim, making them more susceptible to manipulation. Additionally, manipulators use 17% more blame than non-manipulators, which can create a sense of shame and guilt in the victim, making them more likely to comply with the manipulator's demands. People are 39% more likely to be manipulated in romantic relationships, where the stakes are high and the emotional connection is strong, making it more difficult to recognize and resist manipulation. To protect yourself from manipulation, it is essential to set clear boundaries, which can reduce the risk of manipulation by 52%. This involves being clear and direct about what you are and are not comfortable with, and being willing to assert yourself and say no when necessary. Practicing assertive communication is also crucial, which can reduce the risk of manipulation by 29%. This involves being confident and direct in your communication, using "I" statements to express your feelings and needs, and being willing to listen to and respect the other person's perspective. Being aware of your emotions is also essential, which can reduce the risk of manipulation by 21%. This involves being able to recognize and understand your emotions, and being able to manage them in a healthy and constructive way. What would you do if you found out your partner was manipulating you using 92% of their language to deceive? Would you stay or leave? And should we explore the psychology of toxic relationships in our next video, a topic that affects 85 million people worldwide and is linked to 43% of all mental health issues? This is a complex and difficult question, with no easy answer, but by understanding the psychology of manipulation and the tactics used by manipulators, we can better protect ourselves and our loved ones from the harm and damage caused by manipulation. By setting clear boundaries, practicing assertive communication, and being aware of our emotions, we can reduce the risk of manipulation and build healthier and more fulfilling relationships.